around the political landscape. This is KQ Truth for you. Political honesty rooted in God. This is KQ Truth for you.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is KQ, the truth for you.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. My name is Kevlon.
And I am Ken.
Hey, everybody. We're glad to be back with you. We're not doing shows as frequently as we'd like, but that's because we are gobsmacked and oftentimes stuck with loss of words for this catastrophe that keeps happening over and over and over.
Oh, yeah. Man, when you say catastrophe, you mean some stuff like this?
Voters urged Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz to demand the resignations of cabinet officials who discussed sensitive military movements on the unsecured messaging app Signal.
Will you demand the immediate resignation of Pete Hegseth?
Yes, indeed. So for anyone who has been living under a rock lately, we found out we got a clear, stark example of this administration's total incompetence and their total disregard for protocol, law, and for the security of our troops in this egregious act of stupidity. Of utilizing the open source Signal app to transmit group text of information regarding an imminent upcoming strike.
Yeah. Man, we used to have to burn little tidbits and pieces of paper and stuff, top secret, out there on the grills, just go and burn stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that was the purpose. The good side about using Signal, they were going to burn it too. It was all of the text threads and everything were set to delete, which is against the FOIA regulation, not the FOIA regulation, but the what is it? Preservation of documents or something.
You have to preserve. They aren't supposed to be communicating outside of government channels because every conversation is supposed to be preserved in the National Archives. It's a part of our national security. And these guys are communicating with each other over Signal. And this can't not be the only time that they've ever communicated over Signal, just the one that the Atlantic journalist got invited to. Man, they've been doing this thing for a long time. They've been doing it.
Absolutely.
And even in Project 2025, that's what they're supposed to do. That's a part of their thing is, hey, keep all of these conversations out of the purview of the National Archives.
Yep. It ties into what we talked about before over and over. The goal of the administration in terms of hiring would be to hire people who are totally, totally loyal and who will lack no gall in terms of breaking laws and breaking protocols, keeping information withheld within the individuals that are totally loyal to Trump. That way they can get away with everything and face no embarrassment. There's no way. I guess there is a way, and hopefully they will be able to go back and get all of this information, everything they put through this Signal app. And it's so weird and funny because when this comes up, not only does the administration deny, deflect, and all that kind of stuff, but the rank and file MAGA people, they do the same thing. They jump on the same bandwagon. It must not have been that secretive. Y'all are just the mission was successful, so what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, nothing to see over here. Squirrel.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Totally fine. So let's get into these clips, man. We're gonna run through these because this is some horrendous mess going on.
Yeah, buddy. Let's check out see what Hal Sparks has to say about it.
And if I can read what you're writing, I can figure out what group you're in, and I can set up the exact same on the private devices of Tulsi Gabbard, of Pete Hegseth, of whoever the fuck I'm, pushing around with this. So I don't need the app to do this. I just need access to your fucking phone is the entire point. These people are using their private phones. And once you're in, you're in. Never mind the fact that all of these assholes at one point or currently have TikTok on their private phones because they were using it for campaign purposes for the Trump campaign. That's it. That's your location. That's all your files. That's your keystrokes. That's your mic on. That's your phone, your camera on. And you don't need to break the encryption. It could just record your screen all the time. It's like a camera always pointed at the surface of your phone. And like the dumbest part yesterday, and this is the part that drove me the most crazy, and I'm sure it won't be any better today at the House hearing, which I wish you were there. Everybody, Richard Ojeda for NC.com will get you into the House, and you on the House panel today of Intel would be so choice in this situation. Oh. Yesterday, the most frustrating thing, of a lot of things, was the CIA director basically saying, I don't recall, I don't know, I'm not privy to that, I don't know these things. All stuff he absolutely does and should know. And Ossoff, bless his heart, saying, you do know.
Yes.
You do know.
Let me tell you something. This is what I'm interested in, because you know what? It's not just that conversation, which absolutely was damaging.
Right.
I want to know everything that they have said on the signal.
Right.
I don't just want this conversation. I want every single conversation that they have had since they took office, because I guarantee you that would be very, very damaging to all of them. I bet you that they've probably daggone ripped Elon Musk a new one. They've probably said all kinds of things because, once again, they just thought that only a few people could be in this conversation. I think that we need to demand that we get the transcripts of every single conversation that came from Pete Hegseth and that came from Tulsi Gabbard, came from Waltz. I think that's important, because if they're this cavalier to literally talk about mission operations on a signal app, I'm telling you right now, they've been talking about things on this app from the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, this is an Army major. I believe the Army was the branch he's in, but he's a major. Obviously, he's had all types of clearances. There's only a few steps higher than we got. By the way, another part of this clip, he talked about how unqualified Hegseth was, speaking in terms of training, and not to denigrate his service, but he was in the National Guard, I believe, and the exposure that he had and the level of management that he participated in definitely was not someone. So this guy was a major, and he was saying, I'm not qualified to be the director of national, in Hegseth's position. So Hegseth definitely couldn't be qualified, because this guy couldn't hold my job. He's a dang Fox News host, for crying out loud. So they put the guy in there. They ran him through confirmation through the Senate, and obviously, and he's in a reported just total drunk, and totally incapable of managing organizations. He bankrupted 2 nonprofits. So he's totally unqualified. But again, he has loyalty to the president, and that's why Donald Trump threw him in there. That's why he threw all of his cabinet officials in there, because he knows that no matter what happens, they're going to do what they're doing in this situation. They're going to turn a blind eye to the obvious malfeasance and pretend as if everything is totally fine. Let us get away with everything. We are the masters of the universe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what they think. Oh, man. But how did he used to think, Kev? He used to think? He used to? Why is this?
Professional, military, government, or otherwise, would be fired on the spot for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. The fact that she wouldn't be held accountable for this, I think, blows the mind of anyone who's held our nation's secrets dear, who's had a top secret clearance like I have and others, who know that even one hiccup causes a problem, let alone a standard procedure like this.
Yeah, still. Oh, when it's pertaining to Hillary, it hit a little different, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been horrible had her risotto recipe gotten out to the public, you know, because it has a secret in there. The secret is you have to stir slowly. You see, see that kind of stuff, it cannot get out, man. And that's why Trump ran around for years and years talking about lock her up, or for a full year rather. And you know, it's hypocrisy abound. You know, obviously, there was nothing on Hillary Clinton's private server that was very secure and was never hacked, by the way, that led up to any types of war plans a couple of hours down the road, talking about what kinds of weapons there are and containing
the exact times of strikes and each target, the names, outing CIA operatives and the whole 9 yards. I mean, come on, man. It was not that type of party.
And they get in front of Congress and they swear up and down, oh, it's not classified. It reminds me of what was it? The Mar-a-Lago raid, where all of the data that the Department of Justice finally went and seized from Donald Trump after he lied for almost a year in writing, saying that he had returned everything, and they finally caught him red-handed. I mean, they literally caught him red-handed. His hands was orange-handed, but they caught him. And the whole while they said, well, he didn't have any classified information at his place. It was all not classified. It was all not. And then when they threw the documents on the ground and took the evidence pictures, they were the envelopes are classified.
Yeah.
They think that they can just bend the truth. They think that they can just say something, and all of a sudden it's going to become true. It's not classified. If that wasn't classified, Ken, you were in the military. Can you name any other thing that would be more classified than an impending strike a couple of hours prior?
Apparently, those weather charts that we were burning out back had to have been way more classified than this type of information, man. I was burning weather charts, man. They had to set them on fire and burn them in the pits, man. Burn pits. And then they cut off my dang on burn pit insurance. All right, check this out.
On Wednesday, we have said all along that no classified material was sent on this messaging thread. There were no locations, no sources or methods revealed, and there were certainly no war plans discussed.
President Trump later continued his effort to discredit the Atlantic's Goldberg.
I just know Goldberg is a sleazebag. You know, his magazine's terrible. He's just a guy that I never had a lot of respect for.
The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were pressed for answers during a hearing by a House Select Committee Wednesday. Both Gabbard and Ratcliffe were part of the Signal group chat.
I used an appropriate channel to communicate sensitive information. It was permissible to do so. I didn't transfer any classified information. And at the end of the day, what is most important is that the mission was a remarkable success.
Democrats, however, are not buying the Trump administration's explanations and are calling for heads to roll.
This text message is clearly classified information. Secretary Hegseth has disclosed military plans as well as classified information. He needs to resign immediately.
Hegseth is doing a great job. He had nothing to do with this.
Democrats are also calling for National Security Advisor Mike Waltz to resign.
So first of all, every single person that was on that group chat, as soon as they started talking about the impending strike, somebody should have stepped up and stopped it. So Hegseth was involved. He is in charge. So yes, he should have done something about it. I mean, but like they said, this isn't the only time that they've communicated these types of things. So nobody was standing up for the law there. Sorry, America. Another thing,
America. Your national security is just not that important, man. We can use some third-party signal app and, oh boy, come on, man.
It's always funny. As soon as something comes out about them, you can take all of the generals from his first administration, all of his administration officials that sort of admitted factually that Donald Trump is rather off the rocker. Every single time that they come out, the first thing they do is attack the messenger. So this is the logic that they employ in doing so. They Donald Trump himself, we just heard him call the Atlantic reporter a sleaze bag, which is that's a technical term that's only used at the highest levels of government, by the way, those with the most tact. But he called him a sleaze bag. My question to you, Mr. President, why is that sleaze bag on y'all's group text? If he's such a sleaze bag, why did y'all include him of all people? You should have included me. I like knowing when strikes are gonna happen because I like to get my popcorn ready. But apparently, you like that guy more than you like me. Maybe the sleazier the better, right? Maybe that's the reason he was included was because he was a sleaze bag. I don't know. I don't think he's a sleaze bag. But did that sleaze bag put this group chat together? And did that sleaze bag put any information out?
I think they say it was sucked. He was sucked into the. He got sucked in. That's what old Waltz, boy. I tell you the truth. Hey man, it's been great. It's been fun. We just trying to reveal a little bit of information, a little bit at a time. I know it's a whole lot going on out there, but I was glad we could pinpoint one little area of extreme concern and bring it to y'all's attention. If you missed something or if you have something to add, you know where we at. Holla, people.
Wait. Before we go, we cannot go without talking about this. Hegseth clip. Say that 15 times really fast. But his clip, he was talking about Hillary Clinton. This is another thing that the right wingers do. As soon as you say, "Oh my gosh, this was the worst such and such that has ever happened." For instance, the worst attack that we've had on our capital since the Civil War was January 6th. So what did they do? They started talking about the Black Lives Matter protests and doing a false equivalency of, look at all of these people. They were burning the country down for a year. Actually, that was a protest because a person was killed by the cops, unarmed, and he was just choked out in public. And that's why people were protesting. But they want to equate that to when the capital of the United States was getting attacked. In this case, as soon as it's uncovered that one of the most egregious instances we've seen in our country's history of us putting extremely sensitive information on a public source platform, as soon as that happens, they point to what did Hillary Clinton do with her private server? False equivalency abound. This is the way they roll. Attack the messenger, throw out a false equivalency, deny. Ain't nothing classified. Trump is never going to hold anybody accountable for this. That's my guess, unless we, the public, stand up to him. So y'all look into this. Be fair. Take yourself and say, if this was the Democrats, what would the Republicans do? Let me just tell you. They ran down Barack Obama over Benghazi for 3 years. And at the end of all of that, it was determined that the federal government had no culpability in that attack. This should be a long-standing story. It should never die down. It should be the example of the level of competence that this administration has, and the judgment should be 0.
Bingo. Hey, it's been real, my people. Y'all keep it live, keep it love, keep it happy, keep it peace, man. Y'all know what we do.
Don't get gaslit.
Please don't.
1, 2, KQ.
I can dig it.
All I wanna do 1, 2 is just listen to you. KQ politics 72. Can you dig it? 1, 2 KQ. Can you dig it? And all I wanna do 1, 2 you wish just listening to you. KQ politics 72. Can you dig it? KQ.